Well, some classics never die, and I can't help but feel a lot of nostalgia when I saw Meghan do the controlling gesture on Harry at the Invictus Games. You know the one when Meghan taps Harry's back to call his attention, and since Harry never pays attention to her on that tap, then she proceeds to grab his hand and pull him away. And I say nostalgia because I have already done two dedicated videos to such gesture on my body language guy channel, and one of them broke the 1 million views. I enjoyed a lot making that one, but to refresh your memory very quickly, it's like that time Harry wanted to greet someone in one of their engagements and Meghan simply did not let him go or even walk in the direction he was going. She just doesn't care about that. She finds these things boring. Then you might be asking, if she finds this situation so boring, then why does she insist in going to them? Why doesn't she keep calling the paps at home? Maybe this time she could tell them to meet her at Taco Bell. That would be a great move since the American Spanish speaking market is growing by the minute. Welcome back, my 154,000 Royal Rogues plus the close to 1 million who haven't subscribed yet. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And how can we know that she finds these situations boring? Well, it's not exactly that she is bored. I have studied the methane mind enough to say that it's just frustration when people are not paying attention to her. And that's why she shows the same gestures in said situations. It's like this example from Wimbledon 2019 on the left when she was sitting next to Serena Williams' mother and she was not paying attention to the Duchess of Sausages, like at all. And I found it funny that it's the same gesture that we saw today sitting next to Harry at the Invictus Games. Only that in this case, let's take a closer look at this. Oh, well, I don't know what to say. Let's better skip to the next slide. And as you can see, as it's classic with Harry as well, that he has adopted that face when Meghan is around. The face of blissful joy, of having found freedom overseas, of the ultimate victory, never-ending happiness when joined by his lovely wife. It's not hard to see that before Meghan arrived, Harry was feeling lost, miserable. His eyes were devoid of the light that shines only when Meghan is next to him. Yeah, you can be fooled by these apparently genuine smiles, but that's what the evil media wants to paint in Harry, like he's happier when Meghan is not around. Or more exactly, in this case, Meghan was thousands of miles away. But to be fair, Harry was not alone, and now we got more pictures of Beth Harley, one of the assistants and advisor to the Duke of Sausages, and certainly the easiest one on the eyes. And yes, the Sausage Squad is fuming again because how dare she talk so close to Harry and point a finger like that? And ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to announce that we got a brand new mask slip to add to our Methane Showing Her True Colors collection. The moment when the friendly woman was talking to her and Harry, she went from all smiles to serious, fixing her hair to pouty lips. Maybe she was thinking about Beth Harley at that moment. And you know that I cannot let this opportunity pass and add fuel to the fire. And I came up with a couple nicknamed Harley Hey. So before the daily fail or the daily abscess or the scum or the telechaff or debris news, begin using it. You heard it here first on the Royal Rogue. By the way, I was joking on Twitter that I was going to have some Harley merch dropping soon, but this is just a joke. I'm not stupid. This would get my arse sued in less time than it takes you to say the TIG. But speaking of body language, we need to talk about Harry's posture when Meghan was giving that awful speech. And I'm going to give my opinion about this speech in a couple of minutes, but first take a look at this. Harry is not standing tall. His shoulders are a bit tense. It's like he's trying to make himself smaller. And not only that, His body doesn't project power but submission, and this is regardless that Meghan is talking. You should stand tall beside your woman, and Harry is, well, subdued every time the Duchess is next to him. And you can imagine how was the reaction to Meghan's speech when it contains a reference to family values. Yeah, from the exact same person that refused to visit her dad when he had a stroke and did her best to destroy the royal family. This is outrageous. Not to mention that she had to start the speech with, "Sorry, I was a little late to the party. I had to spend a little bit more time getting our little ones settled at home." What? I guess Meghan would be wondering why those pesky nannies just keep running away from the house in the middle of the night. So she has to do the dirty work herself with 4 nannies instead of 5. But let's talk about the royal family. Prince William arrived at a construction site in London to discuss the prevalence of suicide in the construction industry and highlight the crucial need to focus on prevention rather than crisis management when it comes to mental health support. And it's worth noting that in this industry, suicide is higher than the national average, as pointed out by the Caribbean prince, who was also criticized in media like the Daily Fail, who started talking about William's engagement, but immediately switched to talk about Harry and Meghan. And it's embarrassing because I see no problem in writing separate articles for both topics, but not create some kind of clickbait with William so you pivot the text to Meghan and Harry. It just doesn't make sense. But I don't care much about what these people do either. In the words of Sarah Haji-Bagheri, Prince William spoke to construction workers about the impact their jobs sometimes had on their mental health. The worry about the pay, the hours, those stresses add up. They build up over time. He added, "We men aren't very good at talking about this." And I agree, we men have always had a hard time talking about our struggles, but it's not exactly talking about our struggles what helps us overcome them. Because after all, just talking about them. But there's a very easy way that you can help a man who feels overwhelmed by the circumstances. You just have to tell them that you respect them, respect what they do, and admire how hard they work, how hard they push forward. You might think that these 4 sentences are silly or they can't have that much of an impact, but believe me, men, and especially men from this era, are starving from that kind of words. It's not necessary any public recognition. Sometimes it's not even necessary for us to say that we are going through tough times because we already know it. But if you, as a woman, give something as simple as a compliment of this nature to your spouse, or your father, or your brother, or maybe your sons, or even a male friend, you will be doing much more than you can imagine for their mental health. And what's even crazier is that they will never forget that you told them those words. And in an extremely rare tribute for a non-Italian figure, Poste Italiane has issued a special postage stamp to her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And I love the design, and I love the fact that so many organizations from other countries acknowledge the huge impact of Queen Elizabeth. Wonderful, wonderful to see. My Royal Rogues, remember that you can download my free 100 body language tips in the description of this video. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Much love and bliss.